Colorful Radio.
Welcome back. It's Sarah Lister here on Colourful Life, and this section of the show, I am joined by two amazing, incredible, handsome gentlemen in the studio right now, and I have with me Tony Dada and Nick Howe, and I'm just going to read you just a little bit about them because they're going to be talking about business, money, and you. So if you're even remotely interested in business, if you're even remotely interested in money, and this is all about you, you need to be tuned in right now because they got some amazing gems, they've got amazing information. So let me go and introduce Nick to you. Let me just tell you a little bit just about Nick before he comes alive. Nick has worked for NatWest Business, still working for NatWest, as a regional enterprise manager. And this role sees him traveling across London and Southeast, working in partnership with numerous business support organizations and educational establishments who are focusing on the area of enterprise. He's here for you. So if you're focusing on entrepreneurship. In 2016, they saw 11,000 people across London and Southeast benefiting from the bank, working with a wide array of community organizations to provide enterprise education. Nick is passionate about what he does. Nick, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Sarah, and thank you very much for having me on Colourful.
Looking forward to talking more about what you do. And next we have Tony Dada, spelled D-A-D-A in capital letters, and I'm sure he will explain why that is. Tony is a creative social entrepreneur. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, award-winning author, and former head of Center of Excellence Department within one of South London's largest colleges, right? Tony has over 20 years has for the last 20 years been investing in some of the society's most disadvantaged people, youth and adults, transforming lives by creating workshops, programs and courses. And he's also the mastermind behind projects that provided the springboard for music acts such as Leona Lewis, Alexandra Bach, JLS, and many, many others. Tony, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sarah. How you doing? It's really great to be here.
Welcome, both of you, Nick and Tony. It's just going to be a real pleasure. And I'm actually just going to give a number, WhatsApp number to our guests, just in case they have some questions. I'm sure they do have some questions. WhatsApp number is 07931 142 755. We're talking about business, money, and you. And we'd love to hear from you. Gentlemen, I got plenty of questions for you. Are you ready for me?
Sure thing. Let's have it.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to start with you, Tony, right? This is 2017, and basically 2017 has started with a bang. We have seen so many changes. Trump is in power. Women across the world, well, some women, are marching. And I know we've had conversations, and here we are now talking about money and you. What is it that we should expect in 2017? Because I know you're a spiritual guy, and sometimes you talk on another level.
Well, I think 2017 is a really exciting year. It's going to be full of opportunities. It's the year of new beginnings in many respects. Yeah. Last year was the year. I remember writing in my first blog last year about 2016 being a year of change, and boy, did we see some changes last year.
Yep.
2017 is what comes next. Once those changes have occurred, we now have an opportunity to begin things, new beginnings.
Okay.
And hence the reason why we're doing this event, because when we're talking about doing things and new beginnings, it's an opportunity to break away from the past, the things that have held us. So for me, this year is about inspired action, not just doing things, but doing things from a place of understanding and knowing deeply why that action is important to you.
That's really, really good. So you were saying there are people who are saying because all they can see is change. because we've had Brexit, we've had Trump, so people are saying change, but you're saying the change was last year. You're saying this is the new beginning, inspired actions, opportunities.
Absolutely. And you know, people don't like change, and so many people are still living in 2016 because of the fear. Oh, things have changed, and I don't know how things are going to be now. So everyone's, you know, a lot of people have that fear and that worry. But we all know that fear is nothing other than false evidence appearing real. And so if you're living in the past, then you can't be living in the present. And then that means you probably may miss the opportunity that's right in front of you.
Wow. Okay. I hope you're taking note, my listener, because I'm just going to move over to Nick. On the same kind of vein of it's the new year is right at the beginning, because you work with entrepreneurs, right? You work with people setting up goals and, you know, people wanting to start businesses. So in terms of, we come to February, and most people give out. What can you say to those people who are serious and they've set their goals and they want to achieve those goals? They don't want to be in the numbers of the people that, you know, kind of drop off by March. Don't talk to me about goals. What are you going to say about that? You work with so many people.
Absolutely, and we see peaks. Sort of the New Year's a classic start. We also see that sort of September time. It's basically time when people have had time to reflect, think about what's important to them and to their families, and starting your own business constantly keeps coming back time and time again. The one message that we try to encourage and make people try to think about is that starting your own business actually is really, really easy. You don't need to necessarily ask for permission. You can kind of register a company, register yourself for tax, and effectively for most industries you could start. But actually, if I've kind of only had that dream last night, the reality of whether that business is likely to work or not is very unlikely to be justifying my savings and my time. And there is one phrase that we always use, and this is not something that the bankers come up with, not something that I've come up with. This is something that's taught to us by the business owners that we're lucky enough to work with, and that is to fall in love with your customer's problem, not your solution to it. So quite often when people have that dream, that vision, that's where they see the end picture, where they want to get to, but just take a step back and just say, is that my vision, or is that actually backed up by people who I hope will actually become my customers?
Nick, okay, you just said something very profound, right? And I know you will say many things which are profound, everything, but there's what you just said. People need to write that down. Could you just repeat it for us?
Absolutely. So it's to fall in love with your customer's problem, not your solution to it.
Wow, that is very, very, very profound, because people fall in love with the solution and get blinded by the solution, and they get emotionally involved with their own solution and completely miss out what the problem they're trying to solve. Right?
Correct, yeah, absolutely right. So be receptive. Customers may not always back fully 100% what you perhaps pictured your business might look like, but if it's an area, an industry that you're passionate about, you're keen to get working in, be reflective on what they're telling you, because they could be telling you the next big thing. And if that gives you a license to actually work and operate in that industry you love, but slightly in a different way that they would support, then grab it with both hands.
Excellent. So going back to something that you said, that, you know, if you just dreamed up this idea and living in UK, it's very easy to go online and register a business, right? So how does that, in terms of already, I dreamed up this whole idea, which is basically a solution to a problem, and then coming back to falling in love not with your solution but with the customer's problem. How do you marry the two? How would you say, for someone starting a business, how do they jump from me dreaming an idea that is not tested, I don't know what the customer's problem is? How do they kind of, do the journey?
Do the journey, yeah. So I think first of all, there's four main stages. I'll quickly go through those. So first of all is accepting that actually starting your own business is not the right thing for everyone. people have different beliefs, they have different family support networks. So actually the general principle of am I the right person to start my own business is not always the right thing. Second thing is then moving on to desk research. So it's actually tapping into some fantastic places like the libraries. Libraries very rarely sort of get mentioned, but there's some fantastic resources through places like City Business Library, the Westminster Library and the British Library that you can tap into to try and get an idea of what is already out there. Try and work out who your customer actually is. Give that customer a name, give them a real profile so you can start to get to know them really, really well. Once you've got a sort of an idea in terms of what your model could look like, then you need to move on to what we would call field research. Now, field research, and again, there's another little line here. I'm not a book of quotes, I promise, but there's another line which I do say is this is a really important thing, is to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Now, when people start and they do their field research, which is basically asking people what they think about their business idea, we tend to see that it's friends and family that you go to because, after all, it's more comfortable, you've got the relationship with them. But friends and family, not necessarily going to be the reality of what you're going to hit when you're up and running and launched. So we encourage people at that point, before you committed time, before you committed money and resource, to actually be comfortable being uncomfortable and go out to strangers in the marketplace that you perceive will ultimately become your customers and ask for their opinion of what they like and what they don't like. And then lastly is to try and find an opportunity to test trade. Any of us, when we're faced with someone in the street with a clipboard, we can kind of give our opinion and we can say, yes, I like that, and yes, I'd pay £15 for it. But unless you give that person the opportunity to say, well, you've liked the product, you said it's worth £15, can I have the £15? Unless you've got that opportunity to actually prove that people will part with their hard-earned money for what it is that you're offering, then it's going to be difficult to say, I've got evidence here to generate and confirm that I've got a viable business idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. And I really do hope that you are taking notes, because there you are, 4 stages. You dream up an idea and it sounds really wonderful to you. It sounds wonderful to your family because they don't want to upset you. But does the market need it, right? Do you have what it takes? All those kind of questions. Anthony, we're going to, before we take a break, do you have anything to add on that?
I think everything that Nick has said is great. The only thing I would add is, obviously, as you know, that I look at life from a spiritual perspective, through a spiritual lens. I would just add 3 components. There's only 3 ways, really, in which one can manifest things into the physical, whether it be a business or any thing. And it, first of all, is belief. You must believe that it exists, that it's possible. Yeah. And when you get that idea, when you capture that idea, then the mind has to become like an incubator where you hold that idea, that vision, and when you hold it for long enough, if it's a burning desire, it will give birth in some way, shape or form, whether it be through making notes or through doing some research, as Nick said, and that's the process. So that's what I would add.
That's really awesome. So we're getting 2 angles of the practical go and do, but then almost the spiritual, emotional side in terms of how you look at it, right? Correct?
Absolutely. And that's what we're looking to do and bring together in this event that we're doing.
Okay, don't go away. Locked in, we have Tony and Nick talking business, money, and you.
Colorful radio.
Fix things. Unruly. Them a gonna need wings for catch we up. Wings for catch we up. Cause I'm way up. We up there. Way up. Stay up there. Way up. We up there. Way up. Andrew Blacks. From you see me a cleanest. Clothes when me rocking and the realest. The king king. In a the Louis V best. I'll war with this piece. Can I'm real best. I'll have blue breeze on the head of me. Coolest breeze like me rocking a sleeveless. That me. Some man a the grievous. Them down Mr. Man from ZR3 West. Andrew Blocks. Me can't go out here without a girl. Nah my. Me can't do out here without a girl. Nah my head. So we killing it. We up on the bloody pig. Treat parrot if you watch your beat. every day and not every week. I'll cheer for me young creep. Me a Jamaican, but me no local. Regular me have them girls singing a vocal. And the gas bomb up on the total. My league we out like portal. This good boy can't miss opal. Unruly you I am anti-social. Not friendly like the media that's social. Yet still we can't live without y'all. Andrew Blocks, we can't go out here without a girl. Na my, me can't do a here without a good. Na my head, so we killing it. We up on the bloody pig. Treat parrot if you watch your bitch. Every day and not every week, I'll cheer for me young creep. Andrew Blocks, for you see me a cleanest. Clothes when me rocking at the realest. The king jing in a the Louis V vest. I'll want with his beef, can I'm real best. I'll have blue breeze by the head and it. Coolest breeze like me rocking a sleeveless. That make some man a the grievous. Them can't miss the man from Z3 West. Andrew Blocks, me can't go out here without a girl. Na my, me can't do a here without a good. Na my head, so we killing it. We up on the bloody pig. Treat parrot if you watch your bitch. Every day and not every week, I'll cheer for me young creep. Andrew Blocks, me can't go out here without a girl. Na my, me can't do a here without a good. Na my head, so we killing it. We up on the bloody pig. Treat parrot if you watch your bitch. Every day and not every week, I'll cheer for me young creep. 60 unruly. Them a gonna need wings to get trio. Wings to get trio. Cause I'm way up. We up there, way up. Steve up there, way up. We up there, way up. Andrew Blocks, we can't go out here without a girl. Na my, me can't do a here without a good. Na my head, so we killing it. We up on the bloody pig. Treat parrot if you watch your bitch. Every day and not every week, I'll cheer for me young creep.
Colorful Radio.
Way up popcorn here on Colourful Live with Sarah Lister, and my two guests in the studio is Tony Dada and Nick Howe. And you know what? There's one actually thing that I didn't say. That Nick has worked for NatWest for a very long time, 22 years. So he's talking from a place of experience, actually working with real people. Nick gave us like 4 stages to go through when you're thinking about starting a business, and that is, I call them tested and tried, not from a book. And on the other side, we have Tony, who is a creative social entrepreneur from a completely different industry, right? And you've been doing this how long, Anthony? For
25 plus years.
Okay, so combined experience over a very long time. I can't do much, right?
We're both hitting about 50 years.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it? So that's where we're coming from. And I think I'm going to ask one question before I go on to the next sort of set of questions. Like, how did you two meet, start working together to be putting this whole be talking about money, business, and you from those two angles?
So, I mean, it was about 4 years ago. I met with Nick and his senior manager of Abe. I don't know what title he had, but we had a chance meeting. And I was really quite upset at that time because I was upset because I had been working with young people, and from about 10 years ago, I could already see that young people were passionate about entrepreneurship. And I'd met with the mayor's office and, you know, talked about what are you doing for young people, and I didn't really see anything. And so when I had an opportunity to have a go at someone at the bank, I had a chat with a gentleman by the name of Abe. And what was interesting is the outcome of that meeting was like, okay, he could feel my passion.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you know, we don't have any money to give you, but we can and do want to support you. And I was like, okay, fine, that's cool. Because I know that, you see, most people, when they want to think about starting a business, think about how much money do I need? But actually, my philosophy is money is the last thing that you need. What you need is a willingness for people to want to support. And so that's how we began. And here we are 4 years later.
Did you all hear that? Money is the last thing that you need to think about. Take note, Nick.
Yeah, I think, collaboration is probably the word that I would use with Tony and several and many organisations that we work alongside. As a bank, we know that actually people can often feel intimidated, they can feel anxious about approaching us for advice and support. And we're not happy to just kind of sit in, ivory towers in branches. We want to work with people really close-knit and tightly involved within the community who have a better reach. And the other side to it is actually no one in business knows the answer to everything. I think we've got a great amount of skills, knowledge, contacts, experience from other business owners that we can share, but we can't do it all alone. So it makes absolute sense by combining and collaborating with people who've got skills in different areas, which is very much what the event on the 2nd of Feb is all about, to actually offer an all-round proposition to members of the public.
That's interesting. I always say most people have a love-hate relationship with the bank because old school people think, the bank is just after your money. And it's a question of like, okay, so why would the bank be interested to help me? Why would the bank be interested to collaborate with a social creative entrepreneur who is doing stuff in the community? What's innate for the bank? I mean, it's a very honest question.
Absolutely. And it's one that, we've plunged into relationships with many different business support organisations because, one, we don't have all the experts and all the knowledge. So when you're serving customers, you need to know where they can get that help and support from. Yep. Secondly, it gives us access by working in partnership to a group that actually probably wouldn't come into the bank. Thirdly, it gives us the opportunity to contribute something that is of worth to the other partners, and again, that general sense of collaboration. And fourthly, and I think this is a massive benefit, we've actually found that our staff who closely work with their communities and with certain organisations, they kind of give up their time, they'll do mentoring. Actually, those teams will feel better about working for the organisation, and therefore, in turn, they will hopefully then go and be able to serve customers in a better way. So collaboration, do things for the right reasons, and it is ultimately what I think helps everyone, basically.
Actually, I love it because most of the times, we only hear one side of the story, and the media has a way of telling just one side of the story. And having you two in the studio working together from completely different worlds and actually being able to do incredible, amazing things is actually a living proof that it's not all bad and it's not all what the media says about banks because, Anthony, I can see you want to say something.
Yeah, I mean, it's... as Nick has said, money is the last thing that we should be thinking about. And Nick said that it's about doing things for the right reasons. The question that people listening who are thinking about business should ask themselves is, what reason are you wanting to start a business? Because for many people, it's they want to be a boss, which means simply they just want to push people around, or they just want to make money.
Stay in bed all day.
Yeah, or they just want to make money.
Yeah.
But that spirit of service is not there. And I want to let everybody know that, the world has really changed. If you didn't see it last year, then you must be blind. But, we're living in a new time. And so even how people do business has changed. And you can see that, the evidence is right here. On the 2nd, the event that we're staging, you're going to have speakers attending. Some of these gentlemen are multi-millionaires, and they've given up their time for free. So I'm like, why would people are asking, well, why would they do that? Well, see, the point I'm really trying to illustrate through this exercise is the power of creativity. And that's why I call myself a creative social entrepreneur, because it's simply being able to creatively conjure up an image, a vision, and then share that or sell that to people and get their buy-in. And then this is the result.
Awesome. And you know what? That takes us straight into the question that I have, right? We've obviously talked about an event coming up on the 2nd. So the event is actually Business, Money and New, and it's coming up on the 2nd of February, right? And one of the things that I needed to we need to clarify is when we talk about business, when we talk about money, what's your definition of business? Because it's like everything else. You just take one single word, you go in the dictionary, and especially with the English language, right? The same word can mean so many things, right? And so we kind of clear, Anthony, what's your definition of business?
Well, the reason why we put the title together, Business, Money and You, is because over the years, I've come to recognize and realize that most people, or many people, I should say, have the wrong understanding of these words. So business is really something, what we are now trying to convey or share with people is business is what are you doing? What are you passionate about, as Nick said? What's that thing that gives you the drive and the zeal? That is your business. Yeah, and so it's about identifying what your gifts, talents, and abilities are. Because as I say to people, if you are able to make money from the thing that you're passionate about, that you love to do every day, and actually you love to do for free, and then someone gives you a check at the end of the week, or customers give you money, then you're in heaven. And it's possible, absolutely. And I've worked with many young people who have gone into the music industry, who are living literally in heaven because that's what they're able to do. And so I'm really just bringing those things that, I'm not talking about theories, I'm talking about things that I have experienced. So I'm now just bringing that to the wider community in terms of moving it from the entertainment industry and now moving it to business.
Nick?
I think business actually does have a bad press. I think we need to understand as a UK as a whole that 60% of private sector employment is given by businesses, small to medium-sized businesses. So that means any company that employs less than 250 people, they are responsible for 60% of private sector jobs in the UK.
Wow.
We need to support small businesses. The country needs them. These are people who are not going out taking jobs. These are people going out there and making jobs and making things happen. So the more that we can all do to try and help and support those wonderful businesses. I think the other trends that we are seeing as well quite recently is flexible working. So gone are the days when perhaps you had to work 9 to 5 from a fixed office address. Actually, we've got so many businesses and customers where they're working in and around other priorities. So some are employed and they're working kind of in their spare time on another project. Some are working amongst child responsibilities. Some are working whilst they're looking after elderly parents, etc. So again, there is that flexibility there potentially to fit in around other priorities. And then I think a massive passion for me as well is social enterprises. So these are businesses where the objective and the core goal of what they want to be about is so important to them, a particular group in the community, for example, that they ring fence everything about that operation to say that when we successfully buy or sell a product or a service, the profits that we make, there is a proportion of those that will be ploughed straight back in to helping that particular group that's dear to me. So, and I have to say, big up to the younger group, because the proportion of a younger audience, the millennials coming through now, the proportion of those choosing social enterprises as the route for them to pursue is a bigger proportion than perhaps for a slightly older generation. So, quite often, again, perhaps the young people might not always get the recognition that they deserve.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, Nick, that you mentioned that is like the millennials or the younger generation, they're completely changing the face of work, as it were, because they see work very differently. They've seen their parents struggle, they've seen their parents do 9 to 5, they've seen their parents not enjoying work, and so their concept and idea of work is very different to their parents. And they're coming into what they're saying, instead of actually thinking, I just want to have a secure job. That's alien language, right? They want to do what they love. They want to do, as you're saying, they want to do what they love and get a check at the end of it.
Absolutely, because you know what people don't realize, certainly my generation, I feel really blessed to have spent my whole entire adult life pursuing that which I'm passionate about. Science is even proving that it helps you stay healthy. It helps you keep looking young. You have vitality, energy. It's like, I don't have an alarm clock because I'm up. I can't wait to get into my day, And if you have a chance to live like that, young people have recognized, and that's why I love to always roll with young people, because they are not just looking for money. They are looking for fulfillment and quality of life. And when you're looking for quality of life and fulfillment, it's just another level.
It's on another level.
Another level.
So the whole idea of I just want to be my boss in terms of starting a business, that doesn't work. Both of you basically agree it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, as Nick has said, running a business is not easy. Let's not make any mistake. It's tough. However, you see, when you've got that fuel that's driving you, the passion. I've seen my children when they were starting their business go for 2 days with no sleep. Not because anyone told them, but they were so passionate of getting their business off the ground. It was that energy, that adrenaline that kept them going. So there's the evidence right there.
Don't go away. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about something we all love and get very emotional about, and it's called money, 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 money.
This is Colourful Radio.
Girl, 1 in a million, baby. I'm trying to handle my jealousy. I didn't show I cared when you was with me, and now you and him is all I see. Oh man, just rock with it. I was working late, always in the lab. I seemed to neglect everything we had. I played it off every time you got mad. That's what I did. Should've paid more attention, girl, and I knew it. I didn't realize you leaving me. We had a good thing, girl, and I blew it. I'm thinking back and I know that I should've gave you all of me. I could've given everything you need, baby girl. Maybe then I would've kept you, girl, but I let you chill. I should've taken time for you. I could've rearranged what I was then, baby girl. Maybe then I would've kept you, girl, but I let you. I was always too concerned with my paper stack. You blew up my phone, never called you back, and I always shut you up when you gave me smack. Oh man, just rock with it. I guess I couldn't see, baby, I was blind. I took you out to eat, never fed your mind. I tried to give you things when you wanted my time. I knew I should've done better, paid more attention, girl, and I knew it. I never saw that you was leaving me. We had a good thing, girl, and I blew it. Looking back, I know that I should've gave you all of me. I could've given everything you need, girl, and I maybe would've kept you by me. Then I would've kept you, girl, and I let you chill. I should've taken time for you. I would've rearranged what I was doing, girl. Maybe then I would've kept you, girl, but I let you down. You were 1 in a million, girl, 1 in a million, baby, yeah. And I never should've let you, never should've let you go, no. You were 1 in a million, girl, 1 in a million, 1 in a million, baby, yeah. And I never should've let you go, no, no, no. I thought that we were okay. Never thought I'd say that I wasted all of your love. I must have been crazy, baby. I should've taken the time to be by my side, to let you know just how much you mean to me, baby girl. I should've gave you all of you. I could've given everything to me, and I would've still had you, girl. Maybe then I would've kept you, girl. I should've taken time for you. I could've rearranged the times to do it.
This is Colourful Radio.
You are back live on Colourful Radio, and in the studio you got two guests, Tony and Nick, talking business, money and you. And before we took a short break, we were talking about business and what their definition of business, because there's an upcoming event on the 2nd of Feb, and it's titled exactly that, business, money and you. And I say we're going to be talking about something that can be very emotional to a lot of us, and that's money. why are we talking about money at this event? And in what context as well? Because you made a statement that if you're thinking about business, right, starting a business, that the last thing that you should be thinking about is money. It's like, really?
Yeah, and I'm going to contradict myself completely because I'm Nigerian and I love money, so don't get it twisted, right? However, from a business point of view, and actually from a life point of view, I see too many young people get hung up on money, and it's because we don't understand it, you know. It's important to understand, we call it financial literacy now, you know. I taught my son basic financial literacy when he was like 5 and 6, and just that, I realized how important it is. Money is not the thing to focus on. It's about understanding what is it you want to achieve, what's your goal. So the example I gave when I spoke with Nick's colleague, somebody else would have turned away from that opportunity because I was told, I don't have any money to give you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But because I know that money is the last thing that I'm looking for, okay, are you feeling what I'm putting across here? Do you want to support? If you're saying you're going to support, all right, that's fine. Let's do it. And here we are. You know, our relationship is 4 years deep. They've sponsored us for 4 years, and we've had some wonderful events, and it's growing. And here we are today.
That's really, really awesome. So what's your definition of money in terms of the way we'll be looking at it?
Well, I'll be sharing about the fact that money is currency, money is energy, and in this new time, and you know, I'll be looking at it from a spiritual, through a spiritual lens, and Nick will be giving it to you from a practical point of view. But you see, if you are focused on your vision and your idea that you want to manifest, and that's your focus, well, that becomes your driver, and then money will show up. So what do I mean? If you look at Facebook, when it started, the guy didn't have a lot of money, but he was so strong on his idea and his vision, investors come. And that is what money has the power to do. It literally shows up when you have your A game together.
Oh, that's interesting, Nick.
I think money is twofold, really. So money, I sometimes think, especially in the sort of formation stage, is a match for valuing skills. So a really good example, about 6 months ago, young guy came to me looking for a £10,000 facility to sort of try and help him build an app. He's got the sort of bones of an idea. He's kind of done a little bit of research, but he hasn't gone too much further, and he wanted £10,000 to pay for an app developer to kind of make something that he could then take to the market. Now, actually, in some quarters, you may be criticised to say, well, you know, we should be helping a young business £10,000, but we have to think we could be saddling this young guy with £10,000 worth of debt for something that ultimately may not happen. And when we then talk to him about what you're actually looking for is some skills here. One other option, and I'm not necessarily saying it's the right option, but one other option you could look at is what we would call equity, whereby you could find a co-founder who has the skills that you don't, and actually get him on the team. So that way there's no money parts at hand. You've got someone who has a stake in the company, but most crucially, you're getting that idea further along the line. Now, if it didn't work out, then crucially, you haven't got £10,000 worth of debt around your neck. If it does work out, you've got someone on your team now, as long as you found the right person, that can actually evolve and adapt it. And I think then if a business idea works, what money can then translate to links very clearly back to your own objectives. So again, we have customers who, I mentioned about social sort of enterprises, so what they look to try and do when the business is viable enough and it generates money, they look to help a group that's dear to them. But equally, we have businesses whereby they are kind of motivated by money, and we have to accept that, you know, that's the right thing for some people. But equally, we have business owners who are building a legacy. They would love to build something that one day their children can kind of take under their wing. And then also we have business owners who want to work really, really hard now, build up the business so that in 3, 4, 5 years' time they can take a step back and spend some really good quality time with perhaps children or grandchildren at the right stage in their lives. So if you have a successful business and you have that money behind you, it can very clearly link back in with your own personal objectives.
Awesome, awesome. It's very interesting when you hear a lot of. I've had the privilege of working within the startup ecosystem, and so have worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, and that whole thing of I need 10K to develop an app, or I need this. It's sort of going probably to something that Anthony mentioned about financial literacy. Is that we're taught that when you have an idea or when you think about something, that the first thing you think is money.
Absolutely.
Right? And so most people don't even go through the 4 stages that you mentioned. They don't even start the process, because they, in their mind, they just think, I don't have money, as in like liquid cash, right? And I don't have a friend to phone, and I don't have anything in the bank, and they stop from there. But from what both of you are saying, that actually if you put almost like the money aside and say, okay, I need this resource, I need this, how best can I get it? What other ways, or whichever other ways can I get it? That should be the process, instead of like thinking money first.
Right.
And that becomes like the big wall that you can't climb or get
Absolutely.
through.
And you said it, money isn't the thing that you should be thinking. As you said, you were asking yourself questions. You were asking how else, probing questions.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And that's one of the things that I'm really big on teaching about, the mindset. You see, many of us have that mindset, it's just about the money, as opposed to understanding that the mindset that is able to be very creative is a very powerful person. And those are some of the things that we're going to be teaching on the 2nd. And that's why I refer to myself as a creative social entrepreneur. Creativity is not taught in schools. And as a result of that, people are not realizing that the greatest power that they have is their creativity, their mind, how to use it.
Yeah.
If you're not able to tap into that, then challenges will come in your business all the time. And your job is to be able to think creatively, okay, how do I get around this? How do I overcome this? Whereas if you're always just thinking money, it'll only take yourself down.
You will always stop.
Absolutely.
And it's actually just interesting, just like hearing that, and hearing even beyond that. It's not actually just about starting a business. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different kind of mindset. And so is that something that we should be teaching people? Is that something that you're going to be teaching on the 2nd? Because I'm thinking, no, actually, it's not just about money. It's a lot of things. It's a different way of looking at things.
Absolutely. And that's why, if you remember earlier on, I said that there's a 3-step process. First of all, step 1, vision, being able to perceive the idea or dream. And then step 2 is the most important part, because when the idea comes into your mind and you incubate it, that incubating process is, how do you think? People don't realize that the mindset of an employee is very different from the mindset of an entrepreneur.
Oh, don't I know it?
And so, as you know, because we've been rolling for a long time. And so my whole thing is really to teach mindset. And that's really why I moved away from the music industry, because I realized with some of the successes I was having with some of the artists, that even though they were amassing and making money, their mindset, if it's not in the right place, then I was actually giving them a disservice. Do you understand? So we want to change your mindset so that you can see things from a different perspective. And where other people can't see an opportunity, you're getting excited because you can see opportunities like what we have taken.
Awesome. Time is really
we're going to have to come back.
So we'll have to come back. But before then, because we have an event coming up.
Yes.
Or you have an event coming up, right, on the 2nd of February. And we're going to take the next 2-3 minutes, actually, just to talk a little bit about that in terms of, you've got an amazing lineup of speakers, and you've got people who are listening today and they want to come. Give them the details, and why have you mentioned multimillionaires, people that have gone beyond the 10,000, even the 5,000, and they're investing their time to come.
Yes.
Why?
Well, the reason why they've come is because I've had conversations with them. These are people that I know, and I know about their integrity.
Yeah.
And so my vision is, we don't know you, but whoever turns up, we're going to offer you almost £1,000 worth of investment.
Wow.
In terms of training and resources. Now, people will say, well, why would you do that? Well, come along, and then we'll explain to you. Because this is why I'm saying that many of us are doing things backwards. This is the way to do things. We are investing in people. And if you're really serious about success or business, then you need to come along.
Nick, where is it going to be? So people can come along, but where?
Absolutely.
And
so
how?
It's our head office. So we're very proud to open our doors at 250 Bishopsgate. So it's located just opposite Liverpool Street Station, and it's on the 2nd of February. And I think one of the other benefits of coming along to an event like this is the benefit of meeting like-minded people. Running your own business actually can be quite a lonely experience at times, and therefore I think that the wider your networks, the more positive it is for you to kind of bounce frustrations, questions, ideas off of other like-minded people.
Okay, we just ran out of time, and I know you have many gifts that you want to sort of give to our listeners.
Can we give them the address?
Yes, you can give the address, website address where they can book. It's very important. Yeah.
Yes, www.businessmoneyandyou.com. That's simple.
Say it again.
www.businessmoneyandyou.com.
Okay, go get your ticket. There's £1,000 worth of products waiting for you to help you succeed in your business, money, and you. It's been a pleasure having you, Tony and Nick. Thank you for being my guests.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Okay.
Colourful.
Thank you.
Colorful Radio.